In the fourth installment of the Be Like Mike series, we're going to be discussing, man, the greatest dunker in NBA history. Half man, half amazing, Vince Carter. Let's talk about it. What's up, hoop heads? It's your boy Skinny Hardaway, and this is Retro Heat Check. Checking in one more time for the real hoop heads out there. And of course, thank you all for your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, your comments, and of course your questions. You guys already know each and every Wednesday, Q&A with Skinny. These last few weeks have been really fun. You guys have met the challenge each and every week, coming with the fire. Continue to do that. That's my only challenge. Continue to keep this momentum going. Outside of the comment section, like I always say, this is the best way that we can interact here in the Hoophead Haven. Hey, continue the good work, and congrats and hats off to you guys for the good work that you guys have done so far, keeping the content in this channel interesting with your amazing questions. Thanks, guys. And as you already know, gotta give a big shout out to the squad. These are my guys standing in the paint. Speaking of standing in the paint, gotta give a kudos to my homie, my bro, my bros. Michael Jordan fans are the best. Sports and Fitness Rants, Angry Old Hoops. You know, those guys, all the rest of the guys over there, NMB Sports, all those guys over there. Last night, Gilbert Arenas decided to crash the the live stream. Your boy was out, doing his thing. I didn't even get the notification, or I would have stopped what I was doing to check it out. But I will say this, and I'll discuss it maybe in another time. But Gilbert Arenas definitely embarrassed himself to be a professional and to have such asinine talking points. It's puzzling. I mean, you can always be a free thinker, but sometimes being a free thinker does not mean that you are on point. But other than that, we're just going to keep it moving. Big shout outs to the squad. These are my guys. Stand in the paint. We go up against a huge conglomerate of haters, from the Gilbert Arenases to your local fanboy. Either way, we're armed with the truth. We stay undefeated. Nobody can touch us when it comes to the facts and the stats and the data and statistics. Hey, when you're armed with the facts, I mean, you really are undefeated. So, I mean, you guys can come with your narratives and all that stuff, but in the end, you will fold, because when we come with those facts, what can you say? Last night was a definite example of that with No Chill Gill. But yeah, big shout outs, man. Big shout outs to the squad, man. Sports and Fitness Rants, Uncommon Sense, Scap Attack, Too Raw for Sports TV, Angry O Hoops, Uncut Hoops, Michael Jordan fans are the best, NMB Sports TV, my twin, Phenomenal Fitness. What up, man? Kobe Bryant Film Room, Print Sports, Man Down Sports, Ticket TV, Dreamers Pro TV, Shekel Storm NBA, The Real Mind Crime, Jordan versus LeBron, the Allen Ricks TV, NBA Facts, Self Research, and oh yeah, can't forget my boy Geechee Life Sports. Geechee Life Sports Talk. Get in tune with the brother. You already know what it is. Give these guys a chance. I mean, these guys, they support me. I support them. Would love it if you guys gave them the same love that you guys show me. That's all that I ask. Give them a chance if you're not hip. And hey, you already know here at the Hoophead Haven, I guess it's time, man. I guess it's time. YouTube showing love. It's time for us to open up them doors and welcome on in the latest member to the Hoophead Haven. You already know what it is, the Hoophead Haven, a global community of like-minded individuals that have a love and respect for real basketball, have a love and respect for past eras. Hey, we show extra love to the 90s. I think that's the greatest era in NBA history. Hey, we can have a debate about it, whatever. But you already know what it is, man. Big shout outs to you guys. Here at the Hoophead Haven, there's really only one rule, and that's if you see a LeBron fan, and they getting reckless, check them. They are nameless, they are faceless, here within the walls of the Hoophead Haven. Hey, and we gotta give our a nice welcome into the Hoophead Haven to Aram Haparian. Thank you for taking a chance on the channel. Thank you for showing love and you know, showing your support. And welcome on into the Hoophead Haven, man. Just like I said, man. Hey, run amok, do your thing, have fun, comment. We have debates. Talk about sneakers. We talk about old school hoops, new school hoops. It doesn't matter, man. Plethora of subject matter and whatever that we talk about. It just all, you know, just all depends on the mood of the day, I guess. But yeah, welcome, Aram. Definitely. Your membership to the Hoophead Haven is definitely valued. And now let's get down to the nitty gritty of why we are here. You already know what it is, man. It's the 5th installment of the 6-part series, Be Like Mike. We've covered Harold Miner, Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, and today we'll be talking about the one, the only, Vince Carter. Now, Vince Carter, as you guys pretty much already know, he's pretty much unanimous, the greatest dunker of all time. And that's saying a lot because the NBA has seen great players such as Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins. I mean, you got guys like Shawn Kemp, Kobe Bryant, high flyer. So many guys in between, you know, all the way to guys like today, like Anthony Edwards, you know, and guys like Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, you know, just guys that can just get up at any time. But nobody could get up like Vince Carter. I think Vince Carter's athleticism and just, I mean, just everything about Vince Carter was just pure athleticism, pure, just, I mean, everything looked right. He just had the swagger. It just, I mean, boy, he was definitely box office. He popped off the screen. I remember watching him at the slam dunk contest way back when in the McDonald's All-American on ESPN, and Vince was doing some stuff. And I was just like, man. And, you know, I didn't know where I didn't know who he was, you know, because, you know, he was from Florida. You know, and Florida's not really known for their hoops and more known for their football. So I was not hip to Vince Carter, but until that day. And then when they said that he was going to UNC, I was like, sheesh. You already know he definitely must have been a real hooper. And come to find out, he actually was. But, you know, he was a player that was, you know, obviously tabbed to be the next Michael Jordan for a plethora of reasons. But before we get into that, let's give a rundown of Vince Carter's stats and achievements. All right. He went to Mainland High School in Daytona Beach, Florida, where he was Florida's Mr. Basketball way back in 1995. He was also a McDonald's All-American, also a Parade first team All-American. Now, I was saying the other day that I did not know if Parade still did the All-American. I believe they don't. I think that they got replaced by Gatorade. The Gatorade All-American is now, I believe, what the Parade All-American used to be. I believe. I may not. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's what it is. What else? What else? What else? Went to UNC from 95 to 98, where he was a second team All-American in 1998, first team All-ACC in 1998, third team All-ACC in 97, number 15 retired by UNC. His in the NBA, yeah, as a matter of fact, his time at UNC, definitely, I have to say real quick, his time in UNC was definitely my real introduction to his full game as far as what he was capable of. But yeah, definitely, he was very well accomplished, especially his last 2 years at UNC. Once he got into the NBA, he was a first round draft pick. Sorry, the fifth pick to the Golden State Warriors. He was immediately traded to Toronto for his UNC teammate Antoine Jamison in the '98 draft. Um, he played for Toronto from '98 to '04. Played for New Jersey from '04 to '09. Played for Orlando from 2009 to 2010. Phoenix 10 to 11. Dallas 11 through 14. Memphis 2014 through 17. Sacramento 2017 through 18. And Atlanta 2018 through 2020. He averaged 16.7 points a game, 4 boards, 3 assists for his whole career. He's the first player to ever play in 4 different decades. Also, he has actually surprisingly the 9th most three-pointers made in NBA history. So, hey, very, very great tidbit to know. I did not know that he was that high up. He was an 8-time All-Star from 2000 to 2007. He was an NBA second team in 01, NBA third team in 2000, Rookie of the Year in 1999, All-Rookie first team in 1999, Slam Dunk champ in 2000. He's the Twyman Stokes Teammate of the Year in 2016 and the NBA Sportsmanship Award winner in 2020. His number 15 is scheduled to be retired by the Nets. I believe his number 15 will be retired. Yeah, his number 15 will be retired by the also by the Toronto Raptors, and he will be and he has gotten his induction into the Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. So congrats to Vince as far as that is concerned. Man, with all that out of the way now, all of the the accolades and the accomplishments and all that stuff is out the way. Let's get down to business. Vince Carter, man, the game was just crazy that he had. His game was pretty much predicated by his freakish athleticism. I mean, from day one, from the time I first seen him in that All-American Slam Dunk contest through UNC, I thought that he was pretty much just a dunker. I thought that he was an amazing dunker. Putbacks, going down the lane. But I really did not realize until his junior year that his game was starting to, he was starting to come into his own. But by his senior year, I'm not senior year, by his sophomore to his junior year, I'm so sorry, for his junior year, I mean, he was pretty much, he was pretty much the man. Antoine Jamison, they had Ed Cota, Shammond Williams. That squad right there, was definitely fun to watch. They ran through the ACC. They definitely had some pretty deep tournament runs. No championships, obviously, but definitely they were a talented bunch. Vince Carter was just one of many talented players. But yeah, definitely Vince became a superstar within the ACC by his junior year. And then once the NBA came calling, it was already a done deal. It was already a done deal that he was going to go first round. So him being the fifth pick overall was not really that surprising. A lot of people thought because of his athletic ability, although that draft class was still kind of okay, it was an okay draft class. But Vince was definitely one of the headliners, and being drafted by Golden State, um, I was like, okay, cool. And then within minutes, uh, David Stern goes up to the podium, announces the trade. Antoine and Vince, they're on camera switching the hats, swapping the hats, and the rest is history. Air Canada was born, and literally he was born in a preseason game versus the Atlanta Hawks, where he had two of the nastiest poster dunks on Dikembe Mutombo, the Dikembe Mutombo. Mount Mutombo, one of the hardest guys. I mean, there's been guys that's caught him slipping, but there's few and far between. And Vince dunked on him twice, easy, with no problem. Was mean mugging him and everything. I mean, the first time I seen that, I was like, oh my God. This I was like, man, Vince is he's gonna be all right in this league. He's gonna be all right. I mean, he was starting to develop his jump shot. His 3-pointer was starting to come into his own, but it was still like a slow process. It wasn't, the finished product, so to speak. But he definitely wowed the people with his what I'm saying, his aerial acrobatics. I mean, just some of the dunks that he had his rookie year. The dunk versus Indiana when he went baseline with the two-hand reverse windmill. I was like, sheesh, what is? I mean, he did that through traffic. I was like, sheesh. I never seen, probably not since Sean Kemp, have I seen a guy who would just go through the lane recklessly. I mean, really recklessly, and still put it down and make it look easy, and put a little swag, put a little, a little shimmy or whatever at the end of the dunk, just like Sean Kemp. I definitely was a fan of Vince's swagger. Not only was his athletic ability off the charts, but definitely his swagger. He was he was one of those guys that he just knew that he was that guy. He knew that he could jump out the gym. He knew he had the game. He knew that there was very few people that could really, on a physical level, on an athletic standpoint, he was head and shoulders above a lot of guys. I mean, he was literally a freakish athlete. Stood about 6'7", and 6'7", 6'8", and I mean, I'm telling you, when he jumped up in the air, I mean, it was just, man, it was just something to watch. You just see the dunk after dunk. It's like every time that you turned on a Toronto Raptors game, you almost had that anticipation that you're going to see something that you've never seen before. Something like with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had that same effect, and I believe that's why so many people was willing and ready to call Vince Carter the next Michael Jordan. Obviously, the UNC ties. Both guys are UNC alums. Both of them could jump out the gym. Bald head, array of aerial moves, very popular amongst the league. I mean, there was a whole lot of reasons why people would want to put that next Jordan moniker on Vince. And Vince, his first few years, he did his thing. The strike happened his rookie year, so his rookie year didn't actually start until January. But I mean, he was able to just go crazy, go nuts, wow the crowd, captured the Rookie of the Year, first team All Rookie, like I stated earlier. I mean, the sky was the limit to what he could be, and what we all thought that he was going to become. But yeah, he had a promising start that rookie year, and by year two, Vince Carter was definitely a household name, and mainly because not only was the simple fact that it was the first full season since the strike. Vince Carter got his numbers up. He's averaging over what is he averaging about? I know it was way over. It was over 20. It's like 22 points per game, I believe. He was up there. I mean, he went from averaging about 17 to a little over 22. As a matter of fact, I want to say it was more. It might have been 24. But either way it goes, it was between 22 and 24 points a game. And Vince, turned it out. All-Star Weekend. That was where Vince Carter became the household name that he would become during his playing career. And it was a moment unlike any other, I believe, in All-Star Weekend history. The dunk contest had been gone for several years because guys just really, lack of interest, lack of superstars. The dunks were either we've already seen them or they were getting cornier and cornier. So David Stern just did away with the dunk contest. And, but once he saw that what Vince was doing, he had no choice but to bring that thing back. He said, "I am bringing that back as long as Vince is in the dunk contest and participating. I will bring it back." He brought it back, and oh my goodness, we all waited. We could not wait that whole week. We couldn't wait until Saturday night because nobody wanted to miss what Vince was going to do. The rumor was that Vince was going to bust out some new dunks, some dunks that we'd never seen before, some dunks that, basically was going to set him apart from many others. And I will tell you what, he did not disappoint. He did not disappoint. You knew what it was when he stood there dribbling. He had a couple casual dribbles. He looked real loose, real relaxed. Then he took off. And when he did that reverse 360 windmill, just the whole place, I think the whole planet exploded. That was just so nasty. Me and my friends, we jumped up. We're jumping up, we're high-fiving each other, we oohing and ahhing. And it's like we were like fiends. We wanted more. And Vince, I mean, the second dunk, the dunk with Tracy McGrady, bouncing it, he catches it, East bays it, dunks it, does the whole walks off, it's over. Hey, when he did that, it was just like, yeah, it's over. It's over. It was like those first two dunks, it was just like, what are you going to do? Although Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis did put up valiant efforts, especially Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady had a nasty 360 two-hand dunk in there off the bounce. That thing was disgusting. Tracy McGrady definitely was a monster. And we all know that Tracy and Vince are cousins. They find out at a family reunion that they're related. One phone call next, they're like this for the rest. They're like this pretty much for life. So, it was great to see the cousins in action. But yeah, that slam dunk contest, the third dunk, when he put the arm in the rim, hanging there, and everybody just looking like, what the hell? What the hell is going on? Even I didn't know. I was just like, what? What did he just do? And then when they showed the replay, and you're like, oh snap, he put his arm all the way in the rim. Oh my goodness. And that's, you're just like, damn, just. And then the last dunk, it was kind of just like a throwaway. Vince did like a 2-hand dunk from the free throw line. It was cool. But I mean, it was over. It was like the first 2 dunks. It was like the first dunk shocked him. Second dunk solidified it. Third dunk was just like, all right, now you're just showing off. And the fourth dunk was just like, all right, man, enough. We get it. You got it. He won that thing, and from then on, I mean, just the aerial assault continued in Toronto. Air Canada, half man, half amazing, Vinsanity, whatever you want to call him, Dr. Funk, whatever you want to call him, Vince Carter was definitely a star by then. All-star appearances. His first All-Star appearance. He was one of the top vote getters. Super popular within the league. I mean, he was really, really coming into his own. The first 3 years, the Raptors were struggling, but eventually in 2000, Vince Carter leads the Toronto Raptors to their first playoff appearance. They got where they were eliminated. But in his second appearance in the playoffs, they actually made it to the semifinals in the Eastern Conference. He definitely was doing his thing, but he did get some criticism. And this is where I started to see basically the first sign that I knew that he had all the physical abilities of a Michael Jordan and then some. I think that his physical, even though Michael Jordan had the highest vertical with a 48-inch, it just seemed like Vince was higher. You ever heard in football, it's called next man speed, and it's usually reserved for the guys that when they run their 40s are like but when they actually get in live action, they're pew pew pew. I mean, they are flying all over the field. And just like in basketball, I definitely think that that you have those type of guys. As far as with Vince, I think he had next man leap. I think he had next man leaping ability, next man hops. Like, he was making sure that he was going to jump higher than whoever was in front of him, around him, whatever. He was going to get to the basket by any means. And basically his number one option was to dunk on you. But definitely the chinks in his armor was basically starting to show in the playoff series versus the Philadelphia 76ers. It was forced to a Game 7. The intensity of the series in the game was in Philadelphia. Allen Iverson's MVP year, and Vince decides to go to UNC for his graduation, because he did leave a year early. Went back, took classes in the off season, was on his way to graduating. Many people, many critics, many pundits, many media members, lots of fans were like, don't do it. But Vince, he felt that, there was a moment that he didn't want to miss, and that he would be all right. But I think just all that traveling, all that ripping and running, from airport to airport, going from Chapel Hill up to Philly, it was. I'm sure that it probably had some kind of adverse effect to Vince, because in that game he didn't play all that well. Oh no, he had a decent game. I won't say that. He didn't play well enough to win. And I think that was one of the main bugaboos about Vince Carter. The simple fact that he had all the physical abilities, but it just seemed like he just always was just lacking. it seemed like he was always missing something. It seemed like, it was like that fire, that desire. He didn't have what Kobe had. He didn't have that maniacal will to win and compete and beat all his opponents. Now, I'm not saying that Vince wasn't a competitor or whatever. I just feel that in many circumstances, in many situations, he didn't go the extra mile. He didn't go all out, or it just didn't appear that he was. I think sometimes he relied a lot on his athletic ability. Um, I definitely believe that when you are blessed with that kind of ability, sometimes it's probably far removed from their mind to actually work hard, to actually work on their craft. And like I said, once again, not saying that Vince didn't work on his craft, but it just seemed like he didn't break through. He didn't break through the barrier that was really keeping his game down. I mean, he had a high ceiling, but still his head was hitting that ceiling, and he couldn't crash through it and take it beyond, beyond his expectations. In a lot of ways, he met expectations, but in many more ways, he didn't. Um, when he was in Toronto, he went from being the man to basically being the most hated man in Canada. When he, starts showing his disappointment and anger with management, with the coaching staff, he felt that the talent level on the team wasn't as up to par. Um, yeah, he was having injuries, missing a lot of time, and it was starting to basically just everything was starting to tick off the fans. Um, Many believe that by the time the 2002 season rolled around, many of them thought that he had worn out his welcome. And by the end of the 2004 season, they cleaned house. New management came in, cleaned house. Everybody was fired, and the first thing they did was trade Vince to New Jersey. And in New Jersey, he was able to have a new lease on life, playing with Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson. Those guys. Pretty solid team within the East, but there was still mountains to climb with that squad. But and this was a squad that was removed from those Eastern Conference championships that they had won previous years, a couple years previous. But yeah, Vince got there, new lease on life, was still doing his thing as far as still making all star teams. He made another three all star teams. So he was still very popular, although he was dealing with some injuries and things like that. But overall, he had a solid run in New Jersey, pretty solid. Nothing significant as far as like wins in the playoffs. Once again, didn't really show up, didn't really send the team and take the team to another level like he was expected to. I just feel that just everywhere he went, although he had a pretty long career from Orlando to Phoenix, from Phoenix to Dallas, from Dallas to Memphis, Memphis to Sacramento, Sacramento to Atlanta. Vince was definitely by then he was definitely a role player. He throughout those years he had some good moments. He had his moment. I mean, sometimes he catch a slip and dunk on you, but overall he just had a lot of good memories as he was going through his career, but he was his memories was being made as just being a great teammate, a role model. He was like a mentor to the young guys. He was a liaison between coach and players. He was definitely that veteran that the young guys could lean on, and I think that Vince embraced that role, and it was very easy because a lot of the young guys looked up to Vince. A lot of those guys thought that Vince was still the man, still Vinsanity, although Vince wasn't Vince anymore. But still, throughout his career, the whole Michael Jordan comparison. Um, I'm not sure if I don't think he buckled underneath the pressure. I just think that it was just other outside influences and sources of his, just basically just of his potential not being reached. I think that he spent a lot of time, worried about, worried about management. I understand you want to worry about management and worry about coaching and all that. But first things first, man, you got to worry about yourself. You got to worry about your game. That your game is what's going to give you your paycheck. And I feel that sometimes he spent a lot of his time complaining, complaining about management, sulking about management, and sulking about the coaches. His attitude wasn't the greatest during his years in Toronto, but as he kept going to each city, I think that the appreciation started to show more and more. And by the time he was in Atlanta, I mean, he was just the happy veteran who was ready to pass his knowledge on to the younger players, the younger generations. And although Vince never really reached his full potential as far as an NBA champion, as far as being one of the greatest players in NBA history. I think he was a good player, a very very good player, very very, I would say, almost great. I would say he was in the class of very 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 good. Um, he was able to parlay a long career. I think because of the fact that he still had something to offer to the league, and the young guys that were under his tutelage and the many stops that he was at, they definitely appreciated him. They showed the love. I think Vince was able to carry out his mission, and that mission was to basically partake his knowledge onto the younger guys, and just just passing on that knowledge. And being having a 20-year season is very rare. Not a lot of guys get to make it that far into their careers, but Vince was one of the lucky ones. I think that he was able to salvage, maybe not salvage, his past glory as far as like the numbers and stats, but I do think that he was able to come to terms with his place in the NBA. He was able to come to terms with the fact that his time was at the top, had came and went, and that it was time for him to pass on the game to the young guys. Um, and when he finally did retire in 2020, it was definitely it was a happy occasion. It was a happy occasion. Just to see him, walk away on his own terms. That's all that we all ask for, in life, is that we can be able to, if we have to stop doing what we love, that that we're doing it on our own terms. And Vince was able to do that. Obviously, for him to be like Mike was not in the cards for him. He did not have the career such as Kobe Bryant. Um, not to, it's hard to find anybody with a career like Kobe's. But, Vince was definitely at one point in time considered elite. I think the expectations um, of bringing a championship to not just a city, but to a whole country. I don't know if I don't. He may have, may have been, a burden at times. It seemed like it. The way that the city of Toronto, when he left, the way that they booed him mercilessly, the way they treated him, they basically treated him like he was public enemy number one. Um, the Toronto fans are very passionate, and man, they definitely gave Vince the business every time. But Vince would get his, Vince got his revenge when he got into Toronto. Came there, had a good game, hit the game winner. Um, Looked at the crowd. Crowd was looking real dumb. I kind of chuckled. I thought it was hilarious. You always want to see guys stick it to their haters. And Vince definitely, I had to chuckle at that. But Vince Carter, I mean, definitely one of the greatest athletes, the best dunker, the creator of the greatest aerial assault that the NBA has ever seen. And I don't think they will ever see that for a long, 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 long time, because Vince was something special. Vince was something different. Um, as far as like Mike, he may not have had the killer instinct and all the intangibles that Michael Jordan and by extension Kobe Bryant may have had, but I mean, damn it, he had the swagger, he had game, he had a great game. By the time his career had ended, he was a pretty good jump shooter. Um, but I mean, that was pretty much, all that he could, all that he was really counted on. They didn't really count on him to be like Vince and, do Toronto and New Jersey Vince stuff. But but yeah, he definitely has his place in NBA lore. He definitely has his place in the game. You can't tell the story of the NBA without Vince Carter. Um, he may not be on the highest list. He's several tiers down, depending on where you want to place him at. He's definitely several tiers down, but his impact on the game, on the city of Toronto, definitely cannot be ignored. Because hey, Vince had us all outside trying to stick our arms through the rim and do all his various dunks and everything. I mean, Vince was definitely one of the greatest athletes, the greatest dunker, one of the best showmen that the game has ever seen. Vince Carter definitely has his place in the NBA. And I'm glad to know that he's getting his flowers. It's good to know that he is being recognized for his hard work. There's no more beef with Toronto. He and the city, they mended their relationship, so now that's all good. So I mean, what more can you ask for? Now Vince is on the Yes Network as an analyst for the Brooklyn Nets. He's also a secondary commentator at the NBA on TNT. I mean, he's really doing his thing as far as media and stuff. So you know, you don't have to worry about him. Uh, having sleepless nights for the simple fact that he couldn't be like Mike. So he's definitely doing pretty well for himself. So it's always good to see these guys bounce back. Like I said, he's getting his number retired with the Brooklyn Nets, number 15. Number 15 in Toronto will be in the rafters soon. So congratulations on those accomplishments. Um, yeah, it's Vince Carter, man. There's nothing else left really to say other than half man, half amazing, a fully, fully enjoyable aerial showcase every night. Every time that you saw Vince Carter step onto the floor, you almost held your breath because you just knew that he was going to catch somebody slipping. You knew he was going to get out on the break. You knew he was going to do something that was going to make you ooh and ah. Definitely a top flight, top notch showman, a top flight athlete. Like I said, the greatest dunker, the greatest athlete in NBA history outside of Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan is the ultimate run fast, jump high athlete. But Vince is right there on his heels. He's one of those guys. He's just one of those guys. And we definitely have to appreciate Vince and for what he's brought to the game. And so with that being said, we're going to conclude right there. You already know what it is, man. It's Tuesday. Man, we're about to go into hump day. Thursday's the 4th. So, that day before the fireworks, many of us are getting that last day of work for the week done. We're getting ready to have that done if you're not already off for the week. Getting ready for fireworks and barbecue and friends and beers and all that good stuff. It's gonna be a great time. But with that being said, man, hey, you guys be careful out there. Have a good evening. You already know, stay out of trouble. Cam, especially you. You guys love on your family members, love on your babies, love on them loved ones. Tomorrow's not promised. Man, be out there. If you're out there, be responsible, be respectful. Man, just, be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Man, just be good, be responsible. You already know what it is. Clear head, good intention in your heart. You can go far. And with that being said, it's your boy, Skinny Hardaway. And this is another episode of Retro Heat Check in the books. And I guess I'll leave you with these words. Peace. And wear your sneakers. And we got another outro for you. So check it out. Hope you guys like it.